Good day everyone, I am Ella Marisa Hypliga from BEC English 3A, and for today's discussion, I am going to tackle and introducing learning-oriented assessment of grammatical ability. But before that, let's recap the previous chapter. The language test reviewed in the previous chapter involved the grammar section from large skills tests designed to global language proficiency, typically for academic purposes. So, large scale assessment and often high stakes tests, they were designed to make institutional decisions related to the placement onto or exit from a language program, screening for language proficiency or reclassification of school status based on whether students had achieved language skills necessary to benefit from instruction in the target language. So, score-based information provided by large skills, standardized tests, often little practical use to classroom teachers for pursuing a program designed to enhance learning and personalize instruction. So, in the context of learning grammar, reflects a growing belief among educational assessment experts that if assessment and instruction were more highly improved. So, learning-oriented assessment of grammar ability. So, what is learning-oriented assessment? So, this approach attempts to provide teachers and learners with summative and formative information on the test taker's grammatical ability. So, it is a systematic approach to language learning that uses formal and informal assessment to help teachers and learners to plan learning more effectively, measure progress, identify areas for improvement according to Purpura 2004. But also, it is designed to measure students' ability to learn and use grammar in a meaningful way rather than simply testing their knowledge of grammar rules in isolation. So, there are two approaches to provide teacher and learners test grammar ability. So, what is this? First, we have summative assessment. Summative assessment to evaluate student learning, knowledge, proficiency, or success at the conclusion of an instructional period, like a unit, course, or program. Summative information from assessment allows also teacher to assign grades based on specific assessment criteria, report student progress at a single moment or over time, and reward and motivate student learning. That's a summative assessment. So, example of a summative assessment are final exam, end of unit test, standardized test, performance assessment, and term paper. So the last one is formative assessment. It refers to tools that identify misconceptions, struggles, and learning gaps along the way and assess how to close those gaps. Formative information from assessment provide teachers and learners with concrete information on what aspects of the grammar students have and have not mastered and involves them in the regulation and assessment of their own learning so that further learning can take place independently or in collaboration with teacher and other students. Some principles of formative assessment are keep clear criteria for what defines good performance. Of course, we need to clear the criteria in order for the students to know what their goal. So, the second one is encourage students self-reflection. Of course, when we do a performance, of course, the students must have self-reflection in order for them to track their growth in their learning. So the last one is give students detailed, actionable feedback. So as what they say, we need to give a feedback for our students, for our future students, in order for them to track also what we are the wrong, what they are lacking for. So for them, they are motivated to learn. So a learning-oriented approach to grammar assessment addresses the following question. But before that, in pursuing a learning-oriented approach to grammar assessment, language instructors teaching students at different proficiency levels need to consider the degree to which grammar assessments. First one is align with the learning goals of the course, the curriculum, or some external performance standards. And the second one is provide accurate, appropriate, and meaningful information about what grammar the learners know and can use and what grammar they need to improve. Of course, we need to have a specific learning goals in order for us to know our goals. And the third one, use tasks that resemble those that test takers are likely encounter in real life or instructional situation. So we need to use a real life situation so that the test takers must relate and can answer those following tests. So the last one is succeed in engaging test takers in the contracts they're trying to measure. So let's go back in a learning-oriented approach to grammar assessment that addresses the following question. So first, how do I know if my students have learned and internalized the grammar points covered in the course? So this first question will know how the students must have learned. So we need to identify our learning goals of how students must learn. The second one is, how do I know if my student can use these grammar points to communicate spontaneously in real life situation? Of course, we need to use some assessment that we can see or we can track our students how they use the grammar in real life by giving a situational problem. The third one is, how do I know if the test tasks make it essential for my student to use the target grammar points? And the fourth one, how can I use grammar assessment result to provide feedback guiding learning? Number 5, how will the result from this grammar test provide information to me on what to reteach? So we need to evaluate ourselves where we can use what is the result of this. So what we need to teach or reteach if our students must not achieve the learning goals of the grammar test. So the last one is, how can I design interesting and cognitively engaging grammar tasks to my student will enjoy learning grammar? So this one will help us to focus how our students must learn, how we can interact them with the learning grammar that interests them. So I think that's all my report. Kudos. You can now use learner-oriented assessment to ask questions about grammar ability. So that's all. For more information, we can use the reference in the Google Classroom for more information. And that's all my report. Thank you. and I hope you listen well.